I mean, what does CFM mean? What does RPM mean? What does H2O mean? What does MTBF mean? Those are some actually very important stuff to look at when you're looking at buying a fan. I want to walk you through that and point out exactly what you should be looking at and why. Okay, so you can see there's all this stuff that I have on the desk, right? So some of this is useful. Some of it is stuff that I've been working on. I mean, if you saw my video about how I'm trying to come up with a way of checking the inside of a case for the sizes of motherboards and for graphics cards, there'll probably a link somewhere to that. I've also been working on stuff for fans. It's something that is kind of overlooked throughout the industry, really, because, well, a fan is a fan. And it kind of, actually, yeah, to put it truthfully, it kind of is. But you might be looking for a particular one. And what are you going to be using it for? You're moving it air, you're going to be using it to blow air through a radiator, or we can take all that information, put it together, and make a more educated guess, I guess you can say, of what we really want besides just that it looks great. What we'll start off with is some of the testing equipment. So what this does is that it measures noises in the form of dBA. You can set it somewhere and have it record, and it can record the sounds over a period of time or how close you are. So we've all probably seen it where people have been putting it like, this is how it is for a fan. This is for a case. It's very common. It's actually very great. Most fans nowadays are actually pretty quiet. If you're looking anywhere, let's say 30 dBA is about the whisper. So it's just a whisper kind of a sound. If you're whispering to somebody, that's like 30 dBA. If it's a chainsaw going off, it's like 110, 120 dBA. That's when you have to wear those hearing protections, because actually anything above about 80 dBA for a long period of time, say 5-10 minutes, can actually cause hearing damage. So when you're using power tools and you're using stuff and it's going to be really loud, just get some earplugs. I mean, gosh, for $1, $1.50, $2 maybe. If you don't like that, get the over-the-ear ones. This calculates CFM. So CFM is airflow. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's actually just from the fan from way over here. It's actually making this thing turn. So these are very, very sensitive. This piece of equipment is how to check for RPMs. So you can put a small piece of reflective tape on something that's moving, and then you can actually calculate how fast it's going. Because so if it's going once or twice or 1,000 times, it counts every time it hits that reflective tape. And this is a manometer. So it records in US inches of water column. So I've showed you all the meters that I have and I'm using for my testing. Kind of what they test for, and I've even used the terms that I have up on the board. So let's go through these so that you can understand and be more educated when you want to go and buy a fan. Instead of just going, oh, wow, that looks kind of cool, and it's got RGB. Okay, that's about all of them. So let's look at this stuff a little more in detail. Some of the stuff you probably already know. Some of it you might not know. And if you do know this stuff, pass it on to somebody else. Educate them. The one thing we've always known about is CFM. We see that all the time. Sorry if I had my back to you. It's CFM. So it's cubic feet per minute. So that's how much volume of air that something can move in 1 minute. Visually, this is actually, I measured it out and everything. It is the exact size for 1 cubic feet of air. So 60 CFM. That means for every second, it can move one of these boxes of air. Every second. That's a lot of air. If you really think about it, it's a lot of air. And again, that doesn't take into effect of heat, restrictions, anything else that could change that. This is sitting there wide open. So, the next one we'll go on to, I'm going to skip around a little bit, is noise. It says noise, dBA. We see that everywhere. How much it makes a noise. People complain because that's what we hear and know about the most, right? Our fan's working, everything seems to be cool, but gosh dang it, the damn thing's loud. What am I going to do about this? It may not be the fan. It could be the restrictions that's causing it. So something's in front of it, something's in back of it. All kinds of stuff that could actually make that happen. If you get like 15 of these together, it goes up. Or you get something in front of it restricting, or something on the other side. It's going to change. But again, this is a baseline. RPM, revolutions per minute. That's how many times something can go around in 1 minute. So, again, we use the 60 for our calculations. If it says it can go 60 RPM, that means it's making a revolution every 1 second, which is not too bad, depending on what it is, a motor or whatever it is. But for fans, of course, we need the RPMs to be way up because we want to move a lot more air. So we want higher RPMs at some levels. MTBF. It may sound like a bad word. It's not. Well, that's how you're thinking about it. So what it actually means is mean time between failure. So what does that mean? Spending 40 years in the maintenance area, what that means is that something that will tell me how long something is going to be running before it could fail. It's 20 MTBF. So 20 hours, 20 days, 20 years, whatever, 20,000. That's what they figure when this might fail. Some last longer. Some actually don't last as long. But this is what they calculate is probably about an average of failure. So if something were to be running a fan that says, our fan can run 50,000 hours at MTBF. That's not bad. That's actually a pretty good fan. That's actually pretty good. It's really good. Something that says 100,000, well, that fan is probably way better because you're going to look at it and it's probably, I bet you the price is going to be up on those too because they've designed it so that it's going to last a lot longer in usage. I bet you look at a $6 fan and it probably won't even list this because they expect the failure to be like pretty quick. But the more quality fans and all the fans that we buy from all the manufacturers that we know and we love, these numbers are actually fairly high. So here's the one I really kind of want to talk about. And people have seen this on the back of the boxes or on the PDF sheets or whatever it is. You'll see it. And they go, what in the heck is H2O? And you'll see the number on there. It would be like 0.5 or 0.3, or if it's something that's really good, it'll say 2 point something. So what does that really mean? Okay, so quick and easy explanation of what it is water. Sure, we all know what H2O is. That's how they measure it in other parts of the country. They say water. In the US, we say inches of water column. Now you're telling me a whole bunch of nothing I still don't understand. If you were to take a clear piece of hose, such as this, and you hold it up, and you have water in it, that water is going to level out at the bottom. No matter if the ends of the hoses are the same, or if you have one up here, one down here, the water level is still going to be the same, okay? So that's what this is going to be. Let's say we have a hose. And of course, there's all kind of other calculations you have to use and temperatures and all those other things, but this is the basic one. So let's say we have our hose and it's put there, and this is how we're going to be measuring it. So it's leveled out, everything's great, it's stationary. So how do we get our H2O and our inches of water column? What they're doing is calculating how much pressure does it take into that hose or device, whatever they might be measuring to measure it with, to move this water a certain distance. So if it pushes, that air pushes, and it only moves it to, let's say, I'm going to put it back right where I had it. Let's say it pushes it a little bit higher. Okay, so we measure that out. Oh, it's 3/4 of an inch. So 0.75. Okay, that's how much it did at how many RPMs? 1,000 RPMs. So if it was 2,500 RPMs, where would it change that to, right? So at 25 RPMs, does it change it a lot? Does it push it like way down here and then pushes it way up here? And it should be creating more force. That's how we get these numbers. So this is actually an important number to look at, because that's telling you how much force it can push something. We can take all these and figure out exactly the stuff that we kind of need. And also we can figure out stuff. Some people say, well, I bought these fans and they don't push anything. Or I bought these fans and they're loud. Or I did this and it doesn't do that. Because the combinations may not be right of what you want to do. Right? So if you want to put something up against a radiator, I don't care how much CFM. I don't care if you spend 4,000 CFM. How does it do against static pressure? That's where you see this too. The static pressure or the inches of water column. What can it move? How much air can it move when it's forced to try to move air? If it's low, like 0.25, but it does 4,000 RPM, you ain't going to be moving that much air through your radiator. But if it's at, let's say, 1.7 or 1.8 or maybe even 2 if you're really lucky, then you want to look at those to push it up. You're going to want to push it a lot farther through. The same thing with here. So I'm going to, these, let's see, you can take it out of the equation. It just tells you basically how good the fan is, how good it was made. So with these 4 here, you can take these and use those in combinations to figure out what you're going to get. Now, well, I want something that moves a lot of CFM that doesn't have a lot of noise. So now you're talking about something completely different. What is the RPMs at? So is it a low RPM but high CFM? Then that means the design of the fan. Is it a lot of CFM but there's going to be a lot of noise? That probably means that the RPM is way up and the fan is probably not designed for that. These can work in combination to try and get you to solve a problem. What I got over here is what I've been trying to work on, because I don't have thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for equipment to try and test fans with. So I've been cheaping out and trying to make my own stuff. Here is my contraption. So what is it? So basically, on the front, there is a water column gauge on the front. It's digital. So if you look at it, just a big open box, and it's kind of connected there. What I've done is created quite a few different things for this. So I can take this, I've got gaskets on both sides, so when it does, it makes a great seal. Put it on top. I can take a fan, making sure that it goes the right direction, and put it on there. I can plug it all in, turn it on, and it'll actually show me inches of water column, how much it's trying to push through. I know it sounds janky, but boy, it actually comes really close. I was really quite surprised. Yeah, within about 5%, which I think is pretty good for, you know, $60 that I spent on this. But I've been fine tuning it, still kind of working on that. So I wanted to use this to do more fan testing. I've also made a screen in the front, so how much does it change with a screen? I'm going to make some different screens. I want to get dust material to put on top of it, see what the restrictions are. Actually, we can go through and kind of find out some stuff. These for 120 millimeter, I can do 140 millimeter. This is my wind tunnel. What I've created, I had to measure, and I went by millimeter by millimeter by millimeter until I can get the right distance. I ain't so good in math. I can use my CFM meter. I can place it here. So these will be placed at the exact same distance every time. That's why I made all the gauges up. I mean, you can probably actually see the fans moving now. Just from the fan that's over there, and it's barely moving. So it is quite sensitive. So you'll be able to take that, and then I can take a fan. Let's borrow this one real quick. I can take 120 millimeter. I'm going to make one up for 140. I stick it in the back. So now it's completely sealed. So the only thing that the air can be moved around is actually through the fan. So we're going to be doing this, and then with the meter, and we can calculate what the CFM is going through. Well, I hope my long-winded explanation might have helped. If not, maybe skip through in a couple of parts. Hell, I think I even did. I hope that helped you out. I really wanted to try and show people more things about the fans and just, hey, it's a color and RGB, and it's my favorite manufacturer. That's all great. If that's what you want to stick with, that's great. But you want to be more educated about it, you want to really be able to figure out what you want or what you need, then that's what you need to do, is start looking at some of these numbers. The manufacturers really look at these, and they really calculate this stuff out, people. Just don't go and bitch, well, this doesn't work, it's hot. Well, it's maybe your environment, your situation, your case, because I can guarantee you we could have two identical systems sitting right here, and one would probably be hotter than the other one. Same air, same stuff. Because why? It could be because there's wires in the way, or the fans on this one is, 5% less speed than actually what it says. Or that the radiator in this one that was made on a Friday, where everybody's like, it's Friday, I want to get the hell out of here, I want to go have a beer or something. And then they kind of mess things up and they don't take the quality time. If it's a half a degree off, a full degree off, that's really not much. I'm telling you, okay? It's really not that much. The internet has been giving us so much bullshit from people that are uneducated about some of this stuff. I know I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of flack about what I just said there, but it's true. Thanks for watching. I hope you really learned something. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.